Namaskara. Now that elections have been announced in India for Lok Sabha, now along with the selection of candidates, one more thing which we often hear is Model Code of Conduct. What exactly is this Model Code of Conduct? Where does it comes from? What gives the authority to it? And what are the statutes which gives authority to it? From where does it exist? All sorts of questions starts emerging. Now simply we can say that Model Code of Conduct is nothing but a consensus document by the political parties. Usually political parties, it is a kind of agreement between all the political parties that they will adhere to the conditions or Model Code of Conduct and they will abide by the conditions imposed by Election Commission till the finality of elections. With this we can come to the Election Commission. How does Election Commission announces these Model Code of Conducts? What is the basis for it? Actually we know that Election Commission is formed under Constitution under Article 324. Under Article 324 it is clear that Election Commission for India is constituted and it is given the responsibility of superintendence of elections, direction of the elections and conducting the elections smoothly throughout the country, be it Lok Sabha election or be it Vidhan Sabha elections for the legislative assemblies. Whatever the election may be, the Model Code of Conduct is requirement of the day. Now that now that the Election Commission is given the responsibility of superintendence and direction and to conduct the elections, how does it conduct the election and how does it supervise? Because India is not a small country, being the biggest democracy, now it is a humongous task before the Election Commission to maintain the elections throughout the country. So that is the reason under Article 324, even though there are no directions under 324 that the Election Commission has to conduct its business in this manner, it is a discretionary article under which the Election Commission imposes itself with the responsibility of framing the Model Code of Conduct. Under this Model Code of Conduct, they have enumerated nearly 12 Code of Conducts which are available in the website of Election Commission. Now that once the Constitution has given the authority to Election Commission, the Election Commission started the Model Code of Conducts. Now under this, when does the first Model Code of Conduct started? During 1960. During 1960, for the first time Kerala government has imposed certain Model Code of Conducts and later eventually the Election Commission has also started Model Code of Conducts for the entire country. But now what are the things that the Election Commission wants to maintain under these MCCs? Under these MCCs clearly stated that once the election is announced for any election, maybe it Lok Sabha or Legislative Assembly, once the election is announced till the result is announced, during this time no party or political party, particularly the ruling party, has to announce any new scheme or new financial benefits to the public, or it should not be in the form of luring the voters. These kind of conducts that are covered under the Model Code of Conducts. Now after this, several under the Model Code of Conducts are divided into particularly 3 main headings. First section, particularly it is pertaining to person, the person in the sense the candidate who is contesting the election and the parties who are contesting the elections. It is with regard to the conduct of the parties, how the person or party has to conduct. And the second one is public meeting and processions. And the third section is polling and polling booths. Let us expand the first one. Under the personal and political behavior, general behavior, no party or person should work towards the aggravating the already existing differences between the society. Like It may be the caste difference or class difference or regional or religious difference. No person or party should work in that way, and no party or person should lure or try to bribe the voters and in such a way that they should vote the particular party or person. All these conditions should come under the first category, and the second category is procession and public meetings. Under this category, public meetings, it is common that any public meeting, all the rules and regulations have to be followed, particular permissions from the concerned authorities have to be taken. And the third one is polling. 48 hours before the election and near the polling booth, no person should threat or conduct in such a way that it should influence the voting of any person or party. After this, what are the sections or laws which are governed by the election commission, how and under what provisions it is going to cover all these model code of conducts. Now particularly IPC, CRPC and Representation of People's Act. These are the three important statutes of the country under which election commission will conduct all its model code of conduct. It has to manage. Under IPC, a particular chapter which will completely relate to the offences relating the elections, like bribing the party or person. These are all the offences covered under IPC. Then coming back to the Representation of People's Act. All these statutes will cover the model code of conduct. Apart from political parties and persons, there are many organizations who have worked towards the enriching democracy, like the civil societies. Now these civil societies are under certain dilemma whether these model code of conduct are applicable to civil society also or only to particular person or parties. There are several civil societies who have raised certain questions which can be numbered and answered one by one. I will go through all the questions one by one. The question is, does MCC apply to civil society or grassroots organizations and individuals or only to political parties that are contesting elections? To answer this question, we can say that MCC is applicable particularly to political parties and candidates, but if the grassroots organizations or civil society are engaged in any kind of activity which falls under the category of propagating any particular party's agenda or any particular thing which is related to election, then that can be covered. Organizations, particularly civil societies, have to be really careful while maintaining these things. Do we have all the democratic rights to hold public meeting, protest, criticize various parties, any restrictions under MCA? Usually, what are the freedom available other than the election time? All those freedoms are available even during this time. But holding a procession or a meeting or a big rally by the civil society definitely requires permissions from the concerned authorities. Can we also campaign against or for any particular party or candidate? For this question, the answer is different, because if any organization or civil society would like to support any particular party, then the ideals or ideas of that organization may cease to be civil society. It become imperative or become easy for the target makers to target clearly that these societies are not free or fair, they are particularly supporting some particular party. So it is better not to take or not to support one particular party. It should be the way the organizations have worked from the beginning, neutral or in favor of democracy. They can make any explanaries, they can make any things, videos or anything, but if at all they are supporting some particular party or person, they will come under the scanner of government. For street, corner or internal meetings or programs, do we need permission? Can we use mic? Will that call for permission? Using of mic is always needed permission, and permission is required from the police department. But to hold internal meetings and organization meetings inside their office or inside any other building which may not require any public tranquility, then no permission is required. But if you are conducting a meeting where public gathering is supposed to happen and chances of many people coming and gathering, that again requires the permission, which is open even before the MCC also, and during MCC the permission is at most important if the rally or the meeting is really big. Can we feel free to distribute campaign material etc. as we think fit? Campaign material, again, if it is supporting some party, then again it will come under the scanner of recurring officer or election commission. It should not be supporting any particular party. But awareness material as such, yes, you can distribute and any organization is free to distribute. But if it is making any allegation against one particular party, there are again chances that the other parties will definitely pick out and show that as the handiwork of opposition party. So, the enough caution needs to be taken while printing such material and distributing such material. For public meetings or any larger programs, what process is necessary? Similarly, permission from the required department like police and recurring officer, these permissions are required for bigger meetings. If we want to invite political parties or candidates to our meeting, does any rule apply? Can we invite all the parties candidates for a face-to-face interaction on specific issues relating to public importance? There are no bar to call any person. If at all the political party leaders are ready and willing to come and participate in any meeting hosted by you, they are welcome to do so and you are welcome to conduct such a meeting. But the thing is, you should be cautious enough to maintain the peace at such meeting, because during the election, even in the normal program also, it is quite difficult to maintain all the political parties in a single stage, because it is quite, we have often witnessed in many media and news channels that the discussions go awry and they will go beyond control. When that being the situation, your organization or entire civil society may be blamed for such incident. So, to avoid such incident, you should take proper caution and you should give proper instructions to the people who participate in the meeting, and so that it should go in a decent manner. The responsibility and the onus will definitely fall on such organizations. So, handle with enough care. Do any MCC or ECI, means Model Code of Conduct or Election Commission of India, condition apply to social media political content and campaign against ruling parties? After the removal of Information Technology Act section 66A, there are no random cases against social media posts. But if at all there are any social media placards or messages which are directing to one particular person or a party, it is known that we have clearly see that the account may get blocked or the person or organization's account may be reported. We have regularly see in social media that my account is blocked because of spreading of news, and the entire media which are other than mainstream media are completely under the scanner. So, while doing so, if the data or analytics clearly show that the messages are against certain party, particularly the ruling party, then definitely you may come under scanner. But the awareness messages and any other messages as such, for the sake of protection of democracy, are always welcome and they can be spread and circulated. In case of section 144 is put in vogue, what caution needs to be exercised? It is everybody, every organization already know that section 144 means several rules under which more than 5 persons cannot make group and make any meetings which can violate the restrictions imposed during that time. Any meetings which can be done, online meetings can be conducted, any other internal meetings can be conducted, but outside programs and movements are restricted. So that has to be maintained by everybody, be it civil societies or individuals or any political person. Now, how is our fundamental rights to question, criticize and condemn the existing rules, their model of governance, expose them and request people to reject them? Everybody has got ample opportunity and freedom under Constitution of India. It is the right to speech and right to expression. Everything is protected under Constitution of India, and the Supreme Court, has being the guardian of Constitution of India, has clearly stated right to privacy. It has upheld the right to privacy under all the fundamental rights, the guidance of the Supreme Court, and as the guardian of Constitution, all organizations, be it civil society or individuals, they are protected, but they have to take enough caution while making any awareness campaigns or taking any side. It is quite common that taking a side of justice and taking a side of right or righteousness is always there, but while criticizing the others, it should be on the factual grounds. It should be directing towards policies and public awarenesses and making people aware of their rights and other thing, and making them aware and to guide them to reject certain party because of certain flaws which are again on record, which are factually correct, need not call any kind of intervention by any authorities. So, any organization, be it social organization, non-profit organization, civil society, they can clearly take their sides. But the thing again, if at all they are taking any political side, they should not come under the scanner. They have to maintain enough caution and enough thing. Other things, the rest of the thing can be taken care by the Constitution of India. Now, apart from the questions which are raised by civil society, there are few more cautions they have to take other than these things. One is particularly with regard to cash, handling cash. During the election, we all know that there are incidents of seizure of cash or crores of rupees have been seized. Many times we see the news articles of such incidents. Now that civil society in any cash matter, more than 50,000 rupees, if at all you are carrying or having along with you, the documentation of that cash should be there along with the society or a person who is representative of any civil society. And for any print material or for any pamphlet or banner, for anything, if any expenditure is made towards any meeting, procession or rally, that expenditure audit and account and particular list of account has to be maintained properly, so that any complaint is raised, clearly you will be in a position to explain and give your accounts clearly, particularly the language which has to be used and nothing more than that. These are the things. Carrying cash more than 50,000 needs to be taken care very importantly. Thank you.